The election of Robert Prevost as Pope Leo XX on Thursday marks an unprecedented moment in the history of the Roman Catholic Church. For the first time, the papacy has ascended to an American, signalling a potential shift in the global church's cultural and geopolitical orientation. Analysts predict that Leo XIV leadership will carry implications not only for ecclesiastical governance, but also for the church's engagement with major international issues, including immigration and social justice. Within hours of the conclave's decision, Vice President J.D. Vance issued a public statement on X, writing a congratulations to Leo Roman, the first American pope, on his election. I'm sure millions of American Catholics and other Christians will pray for his successful work leading the church. May God bless him. This message underscores the Vice President's hope that the new Pope will strengthen the Church's mission and foster unity among believers. Observers note that Vance's praise reflects the administration's interest in maintaining a cooperative relationship with the Vatican. Vance's reaction carries deeper resonance given his personal journey into Catholicism. A convert in 2019, he cultivated a close rapport with Pope Francis, becoming one of the final high-ranking US officials to meet the pontiff before his passing. In early 2025, Vice President Vance travelled to Rome, where he held a brief but poignant private audience with Francis on Easter. According to Vance, he expressed concern for the Pope's declining health, remarking, "I know you have not been feeling great, but it's good to see you in better health." Their exchange underscored a mutual respect that transcended political and theological divides. Despite this cordial relationship, the election of Robert Prevost has reignited scrutiny of Prevost's earlier critiques, published during his tenure as Cardinal Provost. Social media archives reveal a series of posts and shared articles that challenged President Trump's immigration stance and, by extension, Vice President Vance's advocacy. These resurfaced entries did not elicit any direct comment from Vance, but they highlight the tensions that may accompany an American pope whose past positions diverged from the current administration's policies. Central to this debate is Vance's invocation of the medieval concept of Ordo Amoris, rightly ordered love, to defend President Trump's immigration reforms. In a January interview on Fox News, Vance argued, "You love your family, and then you love your neighbor, and then you love your community, and then you love your fellow citizens in your own country. And then, after that, you can focus and prioritize the rest of the world." He later reinforced this hierarchy on social media, stating, the idea that there isn't a hierarchy of obligations violates basic common sense. Vance's application of Ordo Amoris seeks to reconcile national sovereignty with Christian charity, but it has drawn fierce criticism from within Catholic circles. In response, author Kat Armours penned a pointed op-ed for the National Catholic Reporter entitled, "A D. Vance is Wrong. Jesus doesn't ask us to rank our love for others." Armours contends that the medieval schema reflects a worldview of scarcity, whereas the gospel proclaims abundance. If we find ourselves asking, "Who is my neighbour?" we are already missing the point. The better question is, how do I love without limits? Her analysis argues that true Christian love extends indiscriminately, challenging any framework that prioritizes one group's needs over another's. Jesuit priest Sam Sawyer added his voice in the Jesuit Review article, A Pope Francis Letter, J.D. Vance's Ordo Amoris, and what the gospel asks of all of us on immigration. Sawyer lamented that many American Catholics have embraced restrictive immigration views, noting, many Catholics, and quite possibly the majority of Catholics, voted not only in toleration, but in eager support of a view of immigration and immigrants that is starkly different than the one taught by the Church. He expressed surprise at Prevost's engagement in the debate, but characterized it as a concern and a hope for how US Catholics allow the gospel to purify us and call us to conversion about our response to immigrants. Pope Francis himself addressed the controversy in a February letter to the US bishops, specifically invoking Ordo Amoris in his meditation on the parable of the Good Samaritan. He wrote, "The human person is a subject with dignity, who, through the constitutive relationship with all, especially with the poorest, can gradually mature in his identity and vocation. The true Ordo Amoris that must be promoted is that which we discover by meditating constantly on the parable of the Good Samaritan, cf. LK 10:25-37. That is, by meditating on the love that builds a fraternity open to all without exception. This direct engagement signalled Francis's commitment to a more expansive understanding of Christian duties toward migrants. In the days following Francis's death, details of Vance's final interaction with the Pope resurfaced. As to say, despite the public divergence over immigration ethics, their personal rapport endured. The morning after the election of Leo XIV, Vance reflected on Francis's legacy. "I was happy to see him yesterday, though he was obviously very ill," he posted. He paid particular tribute to a homily Francis delivered during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, calling it really quite beautiful. As Pope Leo XIV prepares to assume the leadership of a global church at a moment of deep political and social polarization, the legacy of his predecessor's engagement with American politics Vice President Vance's support, juxtaposed with Prevost's earlier critiques, sets the stage for a papacy that may challenge and redefine the intersection of faith, policy, and national identity. And the world will watch closely as the first American pope guides the church through complex moral and humanitarian challenges.